All right, this is my buddy Yvonne. Yvonne used to work with us back in the day in restaurants.
Yeah.
What'd you do when you first started?
Man, I first started as a host. So first came into, it's a funny story. First came in, I was gonna be a waiter, but then I was carrying like 11 cups. It was first time carrying cups on the tray, and I dropped it on somebody there. They made me a host, and then I did that for a couple of months, and then you started working as a GM.
Yeah.
And then you would come around and tell me to do something, and I wouldn't ask questions. I would just fucking do it, you know. And he kept telling me more shit to do, and I would do it. More shit to do.
And I kept developing it, which is what I do naturally.
Yeah.
Because I instinctively develop people.
Yeah.
I see potential and I attack it.
Yeah. Yep. And then I remember you would get super mad at us if we didn't take the spatula and clean the salad.
Yeah, absolutely right. You had to see me through it, remember?
Yeah. And then he would just grab it out of the garbage can. Who did this? Who did this?
you know that was all show, right?
Yeah.
And that if you teach people to watch pennies, the dollars take care of themselves. Yeah. And that's what I did, was I created a mentality that's like when we would fire people and they'd still eat at our restaurant because they knew it was so fucking clean.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, I'll eat there.
Yeah.
So then Yvonne started working for us years ago. We became good friends, me, him, and my brother. Through, a lot of it through being Armenian and Lebanese. Yeah. There's always that Arabic, connection. Like the grape leaf connection, I call it. You know? You love grape leaves, you're connected. Your mom makes grape leaves, you're connected.
Yeah.
And I just started getting into BJJ when I got diagnosed with Parkinson's. I slowed down and pretty much stopped paddling and started getting into BJJ. And Yvonne does BJJ.
Yeah. So I've been doing it for a little bit. So the whole thing started, it's a funny story. My brother bought a house right before the beer bug was hitting us. And he bought the house and we started renovating the house. It took us about 4 months to gut it out, renovate it, and then we were done, and that was an everyday deal, Monday through Sunday, and repeat, work and repeat, work and repeat. So when everything was done, I was sitting there and like twirling my thumbs, and I was like, what am I supposed to do now? Like I had that, now I don't have anything. What am I supposed to do? I remember that one of the family members, my brother's family members, through his wife, does BJJ, and I was like, I used to do, Russian Sambo, which was kind of a combat sambo or sambo, which is a
lot of judo kind of style.
A lot of judo, yeah.
Flipping big boys and things like that. That's in Armenia?
That was in Lithuania when I did that. And then I was like, you know what, let me go try BJJ. I came in, I weighed 225, 230 pounds when I first started.
And you're 5'5".
And I'm 5'5".
Yeah.
225.
Put that in perspective.
Yeah, 225, 230. I started this. I was like a round bowling ball that couldn't breathe, couldn't move, couldn't do shit. No, fast forward 2 years now, I'm doing BJJ every day. There's not a day that I
came back to St. Pete, so he basically took me and did some one-on-ones with me and showed me some stuff, which I don't know what I remember, but I'm sure I'll remember some of it.
Oh, it's gonna get there. Eventually, it's gonna get there. I still learn.
Yeah.
To this day, it's just nothing. Like no matter how much you do.
Do you remember that surf trip we took you on?
Had fucking nipples raw. It was me, you, and what was her name? She was a host. She was either a host. She was a host or a waiter with us. The chick with the dark hair, short haircut. She was very tomboyish. It was you, her, and I.
How'd she do?
Both of us were terrible. And then at one point you were like, all right, I'm done with you. Get on the board. We would get on the board and you would just like push us down the waves. And we're like, yeah, I'm surfing. Like 2 seconds later, upside down. And then, my nipples were completely raw. I came back home. I didn't know where the skin started and ended and where the nipples started and ended. But that was a good day.
Well, I saw a lot of like correlation between BJJ and surfing. And then when I started studying the history of BJJ, just like I did when I didn't start surfing until I was 38. And then I started going into the history of surfing because I wanted to learn that way. People tell you a bunch of stuff, but really you got to dig into the history to start to understand the process and how it all came together. So I started doing that, and then I realized Hickson Gracie is a big wave surfer.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how there's a lot of similarities to the ocean and BJJ as far as like being submissive at the right time, not being submissive, and things like that.
Yeah, no. So I've never surfed before, but I can tell you as far as
you surfed once.
Once, yeah. But I can tell you, with BJJ, you have to control yourselves at all times, right? Whether whether it's you're relaxing, that's how you're controlling your body, or whether you're pushing, that's how you're controlling your body. There has to be a control 100% of the time, and then you have to have your mind open to possibilities, right?
Yeah, well, riding a wave is, you may want to do a certain trick, but you can't do that trick if the wave doesn't present that opportunity. And that's what I see here, is like, it's like someone who shows me the armbar, like you showed me the armbar. Well, that's good. What are the odds I'm going to see that position for it to be lined up for me to get an armbar? It's going to be years, months, you know what I mean? Thousands of rolls before that opportunity even comes.
And I can, so let's say you're talking about the surfing and doing the trick, right?
Yeah.
The wave doesn't present itself. Now, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, so I would assume if the wave even gave you a tiny inkling of that it's possible for you to do the trick, you would go for it, right?
Yes.
You would try.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's exactly how Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is. Once you know how to do the move, and your opponent gives you a tiny inkling that you can squeeze that armbar, you can get the armbar, you can get the omoplata, you can get the slap, you can get the rear naked choke, you're gonna go for it, right? And that's how you become better at it, because the tiny little opportunity allows you to squeeze in there, and then you fight the. So it's kind of like, okay, so this is where we start, and then we're gonna come here. Okay, fine. Then now we gotta go here, and then it's kind of a self-revolving circle, and one thing is tied to the other thing, and just kind of goes around. So you're looking for those tiny opportunities, and then you're trying to get that done, right? So yes, I can.
And you're doing 50 other things.
Yes.
Over and over and over again that are making you better as well before you can even get that move or that maneuver around the water.
Definitely.
But you have to respond to what the wave is doing, and I feel that when I'm rolling, sometimes I have to respond to what the person's trying to do to me.
Correct.
I'm not really trying to do anything to anybody yet, but what I learned today and yesterday was, the main thing I learned was focus my energy into the submission, which I wasn't doing that. I was just kind of thinking the procedure would do it itself, and then I realized I have to get into it and really focus everything I am into that submission.
So there's a saying in Jiu-Jitsu, the only escape from a triangle, from an arm bar, from rear naked choke, the only escape that anybody has is this. If it's well executed, you tap. That's the only escape, if it's well executed. If it's not well executed and you miss a tiny little detail and they get out, that means you did not execute the move properly, right? Now, what are the chances of you getting everything 100% correct every time? It's very slim, right? So you work with what you have, and what you have is exactly that. You give them the position. They want to take you to this position, go there.
Yeah.
Go there, see what happens. Okay, now I'm in this position. Okay, so what I know from this position? Okay, I can do this and I can do that. And if those two things don't work, okay, so all right, let's switch the position now, different position where I know how to do this and I know how to do that. And you start combining things. When those things start combining together, at one point you come in and you're just.
Does it turn into free flow?
It does, it's free flow.
Because surfing turns into free flow. Like you don't even need to have your mind made up on anything. It just kind of starts happening naturally because you're responding to what the wave's presenting.
Now, I'm sure you have a way that you like to stand on a board. Like that way is the most comfortable way for you to stand on it. Some people might stand one way, you stand. Yeah. So my way of standing in Jiu-Jitsu is half guard. I feel comfortable in a half guard. Once I'm in a half guard, I'm not thinking about doing an arm bar. I'm not thinking about doing an omoplata. I'm there. And I see the opportunity presents itself, I'm gonna go for it. And so whether it's an arm bar, whether it's a sweep, whether it's a choke, whatever it is, I'm just watching. I'm there. I'm just relaxing. I'm chilling.
Yeah.
Just in my own head, just doing my things. I'm preventing you from doing your thing, but at the same time attacking. So it's kind of a double game.
And there's tools. You've heard it a million times when you're surfing, and this is one thing that I'm talking to my kids about, BJJ about. Is when you surf and you're on the wave, you heard it a million times, you just go to this place that you can't explain. That's what rolling's like. It's like, it's tough, and it's like you're out of wind and you're dying and you're relaxing, you're doing all these things, but there's freedom in there as well. Yeah. So I don't know if this is gonna feed into it, and I don't want to get too deep or philosophical into this. I think for everyone, every human, but especially men, have to go through something like this. Like they have to go through this adversity of being smashed on the ground, or being in uncomfortable positions to grow up. Like, this adversity is gonna make you a better man to begin with. Everyone. I think everybody.
Everyone.
If you had a little girl, wouldn't you want her rolling?
Yeah, I would want her to roll. I would want her to understand what it takes.
Yeah.
You know, uh, and when you're in there, and when you're getting choked, and when you're getting your arm, like you're thinking that there's nowhere else to go but the tap. That's when you start developing these things. Where like, okay, well, if I'm this tired, if it hurts this much, that means the other guy has to be
Right.
this tired, and it hurts him just as much. So if I can hang out 2 or 3 seconds longer, I can defeat him by sheer willpower.
Yeah.
And it develops. You start developing.
I actually
that.
watched Kron Gracie when he was wrestling for the World Championships, and he was wrestling this 21-year-old kid. He's doing BJJ with this 21-year-old kid, and they were close, but the kid was getting him for like the whole time. And then Hickson goes, "You got a minute left," and Kron just submitted the guy.
Yeah.
And it just showed him that he was getting whooped, not whooped. You can't say that about that guy, but he was getting beat.
Yeah.
You know, I couldn't see it, but what they were saying was, and then like as soon as he said it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it got in the guy's head so much, the guy just kind of submitted because he was like, it beat him up so much more because he didn't get defeated by being defeated.
Yeah. So someone has let's say an arm lock on you or a shoulder lock on you. It hurts, but you're resisting. It hurts. You're resisting. In reality, it's not good, right? Because you're gonna do damage to your body eventually. You know, throughout the years, you'll do damage if you continue doing this, right? The idea is to tap as often, as quick as possible. But let's say you're in a competition, right? And somebody's doing an arm lock on you, and you're resisting. You're putting a lot of energy into resisting, but they're putting just as much energy in trying to submit you. So both of you have to think of it logically. Both of your muscles are getting fatigued. If both of your muscles are getting fatigued, it's just a matter of give up first. Who's going to let go first? If you let go first, you're going to lose. There's no way out. If they let go, they're not going to lose. So they have a lot more incentive to let go. That's why for you to stay there that extra 2 seconds, especially competitions and things like that, I think it's pretty important. You know, don't hurt yourself for a gold medal.
All right.
Local.
Thanks for coming.